Welcome back to the beautiful Morgan Park Raceway for the fourth and final race of round 4 of the TA2 Muscle Cars Series, framed by Hi-Tec steel frames, and this is a 20-lap enduro. Word from the pits, Rob, unfortunately, Nick Bates will not be able to take his place out of position number 10. That will just effectively move everybody up. We'll take a look at your grid. Jackson Rice and Josh Haynes, they've been at it. Can anybody stop Jackson Rice? Brad Gardner on that second row with Dylan Thomas. You got Graham Cheney and Greg Keem on the third row. Hayden Jackson and Rusty Wright on the fourth row. Mark Crutcher had a bit of a gear selector issue. He found the wrong gear in the middle of the corner and just promptly spun himself out. Paul Hadley in the IES Motorsport entry. And Matty McKeldin. Paul Hadley wants to say g'day to all the boys at the Dandaloo Tavern in Dapto. They're tuned in, all the boys at the Dandaloo. What could possibly go wrong there, Rob? This is a part of the racetrack here that has been working the tyres big time. Well, has it been the driving style that has really been brutal, because we've had cars all over the shop through that part of the racetrack. Pace starts to pick up. Canberra's Josh Haynes up against Albury Wodonga's Jackson Rice. Paul Hadley back with Matt McKeldin. Fourth and final race of the weekend for round 4 of the TA2 Muscle Car Series, framed by Hi-Tec. Watch those red lights go out. And we mat it down into turn 1. Haynes clearly got the advantage going into turn 1. We take a look at McKeldin. Oh no, Rice! We got cars going everywhere. Rice will rejoin in second last. There's going to be more to that story. Haynes, your leader, from Thomas, from Gardner, from Jackson. Rusty Wright rips up the inside of Graham Cheney. I wonder, Rob, what happened in turn 1?
I don't know. I'd like to see the replay of that. Couldn't see any contact, but we'll wait and see what happens.
It was a ripping start from Josh Haynes, no doubt about that. The Beaches Sea-Doo entry. I got told off by Josh's mum. She said, I'm not letting go. Oh, but they're not explained what actually happened. Apparently it gets her a bit nervous. McKeldin runs a bit wide. He's got Jackson Rice in behind him. Dylan Thomas, Brad Gardner, Hayden Jackson. So Hayden doing a good job inside the top 4 right now. We work lap 1 of 20. Rob Leonard, these look like such great cars to drive. Absolutely fantastic. You're a bit surprised at how technical they are, but they've got so much power. They slide, they breathe fire. They're fantastic. Main straightaway action. Rob Leonard is joining me in commentary. He would normally be out there, but unfortunately, this very nicely turned out Access line marking equipment Municipal Works sponsored car is not out there. We're going to talk about your message very soon and about how you've based that whole gorgeous colour scheme. Let's keep our eye on what's going on in these early laps. Haynes, Thomas, Gardner, Jackson, Crutcher. There he is in the 4-car. Wow. Giving Hayden Jackson something to think about. The 26-year-old from Maitland, or Maitland Vale, in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, driving the Maitland glass and windscreen entry, doing a good job. Let's have a look back at the Hi-Tec Oils replay. Are we even going to see it? I don't think we're going to see the cause of it. We're on the Kubota car at the time. So look to the top of the screen. Oh, he's already gone. Yeah, you know, that would be unusual for him to do that on his own.
Yes, it would be.
Let's just say that.
I totally agree. And there's a lot of cars trying to squeeze into turn 2 there, so.
It's possible that somebody might have given him a little bit of a Liberace and the old keyboard got turned around. We'll try and find out more about that. What we do know is that Josh Haynes doing the job. Now, the points for this, Haynes 228. This is the live ladder kind of situation for the round. Thomas second, Gardner third. It has absolutely been all one-way traffic, though, for Jackson Rice as he continues to drop down the order, and he's in the pits. So I think we may hear from Stephen White very soon. I think he's in the pit area. Quick look back at the replay. Oh! It looked like Gardner.
Yeah, it did.
Looked like Gardner gave him a helping hand.
And then everybody's everywhere.
Cheney ended up with a grill full of grass clippings. So I don't know if we get a chance to look at that again, but it certainly looked like the 22 car of Brad Gardner got a little bit into the rear quarter panel and turned Rice.
And that will be one for someone else to sort out later.
Yeah, poor old Elliot Barber, who's hoping to make the flight on time. There's going to be some kind of investigation that will go on here as we now see Rice up behind Paul Hadley. Slips by on the inside. Nice run as he goes by the immaculate IES Motorsport team. Rob, it's a quick trip for us down to the pits with Steve-O. Interesting stuff, Steve.
Yeah, we got you, Wade. So, yeah, look, we've unfortunately found to the inside of this rim, which we'll pop over. You'll notice that the bead's been broken over here with the contact.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's the flat tyre and that's Jackson's race.
Yeah, so no real surprise to see that there's a post-race investigation, a PRI. So Elliot Barber will have to take a look. He'll have to be, well, Quincy. Remember Jack Kluger?
Yes, I do.
He'll have to do a bit of, not an autopsy, but he'll certainly have to really pick that whole incident apart and see was there contact or not. Haynes, you think he's enjoying this right now?
Definitely.
Clear racetrack. Got a flat left front tyre in that previous race. That's what caused the car to not turn in that right-hand direction, because the way you load the cars, the weight and the balance of the cars, it's like a transverse situation. So when he turned right, all the weight went onto the left front corner. When you got a flat tyre, the thing right there wouldn't turn. So that robbed him. He managed to still limp home in second, and he will be looking really strong for the round win here now. Dylan Thomas in second. Brad Gardner 1 point behind him in third. Mark Crutcher. Crutch is leading these Serco Masters class points over Rusty Wright. There's only 2 points in that when they came into this. Nice job from Jackson as well. Nick Bates missing from this one. They thought it was a gearbox. Turns out it might have been a diff. And unfortunately, we're missing. It's been a brutal weekend. You know how that works, Rob,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
definitely.
So, Brad Gardner, maybe not on the Dream Team Christmas card list at the moment. It's not 100% proven that there was contact. It just looked odd. You can see a bit of damage there as well on the Dylan Thomas car.
And I would say that's from that. There's a bit of damage to the front left of car 27 as well.
Yeah, but again, I think that was Gardner's touching
Yes.
of that right rear quarter panel, if that is what happened to Jackson Rice. Great to have your company here from Warwick in Queensland for Morgan Park Raceway. This is a really good facility. It's a busy racetrack, got good pit facilities. I like the sort of out-grid system that they've got here. It's a very intimate circuit. Although it's country, it's got a lot of cool big smoke sort of attitude about it.
Definitely, definitely.
Here is Jackson.
Noticed a bit of damage to the back left
Yeah.
of Brad's car, so I'd say that might have been a bit the result of that incident.
There was a lot going on, Rob Leonard, in that corner. Like
Absolutely.
we were looking at Rice spinning, but you have to worry about guys trying to get out of there, and sometimes there's tags, and
Yep.
boy, it is busy in that group when everybody's all clustered up, particularly in turn one. Now, we know as well, just seeing that Jackson Rice has gone by Matt McKeldin now. So, just watching in this shot now behind is Keem. So Matt McKeldin has got ahead of Greg Keem now. McKeldin is up to 7th place, and Jackson Rice, I think he went a lap down.
He did go a lap down.
So he's going to do a heck of a job to wheel this thing anyway. Oh, this will be interesting. Now he's coming up behind Brad Gardner. This will be... no, don't get me wrong. He's not going to do a Rowdy Burns and Cole Trickle, the old change my tyres, then T-bone him. But he will take some great satisfaction in passing him if he's able to do that.
Well, he's certainly got the pace, because at the moment he's probably a second a lap quicker.
Watching Jackson Rice go through there. Haynes has a big lead now. It's up to 5.5 seconds at this point. And the points, as we head to City Motorsport Park, will be very interesting for Dylan Thomas and Josh Haynes, because Jackson Rice was only 7 points behind earlier today Dylan Thomas in the championship fight itself. And now, all of a sudden, things have changed.
And it's very important to finish every race in this series.
Look, absolutely. Oh, look at Jackson ranging up behind Rusty. He's ageless, Rusty Wright, isn't he?
Yes, he is. We paired up for Darwin, and we think we must have been the oldest crew in the history of motorsport.
Wow, doing a heck of a job. Just see Crutch Now, Mark has this tendency to, sometimes his booty beats his head to the corner. Let's just say that. So what we're really hoping is that he doesn't do that, because this is one of his better runs. There he is on screen. Gorgeous turned out Mustang. And the big four on the door, heading off to Nashville very soon to go over and support Nathan Hearn for his 21st birthday and watch young Nathan. We'll go down to Matty Cav in the pit area.
Yeah, just a quick one, gents. We've gone down here to Brad Gartner's tyre, and we have gone over it quite... You know, we've had to have a hard look at this one, because you can see there is just a small puncher right there where they've circled around. So not a sidewall, but he's run over something.
Almost looks like a love heart, Matt. Did you draw a love heart on that tyre? Looks almost a love heart. Very romantic. A hole in the heart. Broken-hearted. This guy is just cruising. The Beaches Sea-Doo entry. Ever since this team came into TA2s in the season previous, the kid has been fast.
Yep, just saw a car behind him, so he's already starting to lap the field after just 13 laps.
I reckon there's a good chance he might dedicate this win to his granddad, Alf, who's here this weekend. 83 years young. He's only ever missed one of Josh's races, so cool to see him here. Real family operation. His mum and dad, Steve and Kylie, very proud. And I always say it's Team McLaren, because they've got so many people on that team. Not trying to say that they've got the budget, but they've got a bunch of people that come away with them every round. On screen right there is the 50 car of Paul Hadley. Very versatile man. Principal, of course, of the extremely successful engineering business in the Wollongong region. Raced boats, actually has designed a full canopy performance boat. He raced Formula Extreme motorcycles before he got pretty badly banged up in a crash at Winton Motor Raceway. But I love it, he's so understated. He's an extremely successful guy. Still wears the tinted safety eyewear glasses. He's not into Prada or anything like that. But just a bloke, he loves his jeans and his work boots, and might happen to have two of the most gorgeous looking TA2s in the country.
Absolutely, the two best presented cars as a team every time.
Here we go. Jackson Rice boring two eye holes into the back of the Castec Mustang. Rusty Wright in behind Mark Crutcher, the Serco Masters class. That battle is on. Cheney in behind. Oh, wow. Jackson is closer and closer. Whoa! And here comes the move.
I think it's on. He's got him.
Does he wave? Does he wave? Gardner will probably give the corner up. Smart thinking.
Yep.
That part of the racetrack, look how much gravel has come onto the racetrack from that incident.
Exactly. And that's all around the track in spots.
And that part of the racetrack in particular, that would get your attention, because you sweep in alongside a concrete wall that kind of sweeps out in front of you.
Absolutely. And going under the bridge, you find a lot of the time you've actually got the lock off. You're almost the steering wheel straight and just letting the car drift out to the edge.
Oh, what a pleasant feeling.
It is if there's no gravel on the road.
What is it like to do what you're doing now compared to driving the race car? Does this give you an entirely different perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I could do a bit more of this. I still would like to be in the seat.
You haven't finished spending Jill's money yet. She's out there somewhere listening. I can see it there.
She's looking at us now.
Well, she's wearing the orange road cone orange, so it's very difficult to not spot the lovely Jill Leonard, your lovely, long-suffering wife. You wore her down and you've been spending her money ever since.
Yep, exactly.
This kid is class in a lot of ways. The way he presents, always got a smile on his face, very presentable team, very professional team, and the kid is fast. I really enjoyed his battles last year with Jet Johnson.
I was just going to say that myself. Once his car's going right, he's on the pace.
Sweet looking hot rod, isn't it?
Yep.
Absolutely
Love
stands out, that bright green. And of course, in the family, big Dick Johnson fan. So they actually had the 17 last year, and Jet ran the 117.
Yep.
And now he's gone to 37 to run his own number and his own identity. The working lap 18 of 20. This kid from Canberra doing a mighty fine job. Yes, it was made easier for him, no doubt about that. At the moment, he will win the round by 17 points over Dylan Thomas and Mark Crutcher. After that spin earlier,
he's holding his own. He's still got a bit of time ahead of Rusty and Hayden Jackson. They seem to be holding their position, so I think that's the way they will finish unless something goes wrong.
Still a lap and a half for him to spin out, Rob. What are you talking about?
Yeah, don't want to do the commentator's curse thing.
Have a look at, I'll go down to Matty Cav in the pits.
Come down here with Alfie, just quickly and catch up with, obviously, Josh Haynes' granddad. Great weekend for him, and now he's leading.
Absolutely, and daylight second.
What's the celebration going to be like tonight?
I'm not going to tell you, but it'll come out of a bottle.
There's only a couple of laps left. We'll let you watch.
I better get into it.
Here, get on you, Alfie. Here I was thinking he was going to say just a warm Horlicks and an oatmeal biscuit and I'll be off to bed. But no, Matty, he's probably looking for some methanol moonshine right now to get on it.
We've also had a change of position. We've got Hayden Jackson up in 4th and Rusty's back to 5th. And Hayden is chasing Crutcher.
This is a neat little battle. And look at Jackson Rice.
Ooh,
he is in there as well. So
Cheney's closed the gap.
In behind the serial killer. Rusty Wright, I say that meaning breakfast cereal. He's probably going to ask me to stop saying that after this weekend. It might affect his social reputation. Nice drone shots from this gorgeous part of the Raceway. It's an amazing venue. I love this environment. I love this little town. One of Australia's best kept secrets.
It is. It definitely is.
1 lap to go. This guy is just stomping them. The Beaches Sea-Doo entry onto the final lap. Race 4, round 4 of the TA2 Muscle Car Series, framed by Hi-Tec. He rips by our commentary position. Very smooth.
Yep, very smooth indeed. Considering the times he's doing, he just looks like he's on a Sunday drive, which he is.
Well done, Rob. 1 minute 16.8, Captain Obvious. Isn't it funny how sometimes that occurs to you later after you said it, you go, oh, I can't take that back now. Everybody heard me. Jackson Rice has the fastest time, 1 minute 16.80. Having said that, Josh Haynes has done a 1:16.84. So about 0.04 of a second quicker is Jackson Rice.
And I think the next quickest time is, no, it's only 0.2 behind. That's Dylan. He's doing a great job as well.
Boy, we're into the business end of this one right now. So round winners will be Haynes from Rice and Thomas at this point. So when you look down, there you go. So Rice has 221 points. He will actually pick up second. Josh Haynes with 228 and Dylan Thomas with 211. But what a job for his granddad's birthday.
Fantastic.
Alfie will be on the Terps already, I'm pretty sure. Congratulations to all the team. Dylan Thomas, solid job for him. Mark Crutcher, you won't get too excited. He's got to come and get the checker yet.
Another quarter to go.
Well done, Josh. Left arm out the window.
Such a nice kid.
Absolutely. No, look at this. Hayden Jackson right on Crutcher's tail here.
He's got enough gap.
Hayden.
Hold it. He closed up at the end.
He really did. Whoa, look at that.
Great finish. Oh, it's coming.
Whoa. He nearly pinched it.
That is close.
That would have been Hayden's best ever result. He almost picked up third. 0.087 by a layer of chrome on a Harley. That guy is our winner. Josh Haynes, just superb. And he will be very, very hard to beat. If I remember rightly, the last time we raced at Sydney, he had mechanical issues early in the weekend and then just smoked everybody in the latter part of the weekend. So we know he's quick around that place and he will take the win. Jackson Rice will be second for the round. Dylan Thomas will be third. Brad Gardner, well, fourth at the moment. Let's call that unofficial. Well done, Mark Crutcher. Well done, Hayden Jackson. How about Rusty? Nice job in fifth. Graham Cheney, sixth. The birthday boy, Matt McKellan, puts the Kubota Mustang up to seventh. Greg Keane, Canada's fastest TA2 driver, in eighth. Jackson Rice got back to ninth as a result of all that. Paul Hadley was a lap down. Unfortunately, DNS's for Nicholas Bates. Zach LaChalpo, Rob Leonard, thank you for joining me, mate. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, anytime.
Let's go down to Matty Kavanagh. Matt, boy, that had a bit of everything, mate. And are you going to have a drink with Alf? That's the big question.
Oh, we'll definitely be catching up with Alf a little bit later, I reckon. There'll be a few of us here in pit lane. But, yeah, we're here with our round winners. Dylan Thomas, super consistent, ended up third this weekend. We've got Jono Jennings from the Hi-Tec Steel Framing to come and give you your trophy. Come through here. Jono, congratulate Dylan Thomas. Mate, congratulations, third place. Tough weekend.
Yeah, we were struggling a bit for the weekend. In fact, our pace wasn't too bad, but our starts were horrible. And you know, first race was okay. We got through. We got the third there. Didn't have the pace of the front two. I mean, Jackson was ripping all weekend. So and Hainsey was getting, was pretty quick also out the gate. So we were disappointed with our pace in the first one. Or we're happy with it, but we weren't close enough. But our starts were terrible. And we got caught up on every start. Luckily, on that last one, Jackson got caught up. Poor Jackson, but it helped us out. So I'll take it.
Well, how's it look going into Sydney, though? A track that you're familiar with?
Yeah, we've done pretty well at Sydney Motorsport Park over the years. Got a couple of lap records there in my younger days, but I'm a bit older and fatter now, so I guess we'll have to see how we go. These young bucks are coming up and really sticking it to us old blokes.
Yeah, big weekend for the CXC Mustang. Anyone else you need to thank?
Yeah, obviously want to thank the boys, you know, Remy, Brendog and Archie and the boys back at home, you know, even Carter and Thomas. Good job, buddy. Little fella come out for his first race weekend. So, yeah, and obviously CXC Racing, Sensational Kitchens. You know, without our sponsors and the support of the boys, we can't do what we do.
No, definitely not. We can't wait to see you in Sydney. It's a few months away, so you get a bit of time to clean the car up and go over it.
It needs a bit of a clean-up.
There we go, Dylan Thomas third for this round. Next up, though, was an unfortunate final race for Jackson Rice, but he finishes the round second in the points, and it's just accumulating. You're in front of Dylan Thomas, though, because you're trying to catch him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, like I'm gutted to say the least, but you know that's motorsport, and we're just gonna have to pick my socks off and move on. So you know, awesome. You know, congrats to the boys and especially to Josh. I mean, he drove a really hard race all weekend and kept me pushing, and we're just gonna have to go into S&P and try and scrape some points back.
You've got to take away a lot of confidence from those first couple of races, don't you, though? You're really aggressive, got the move done early and got out in front.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think we was taking it race by race and sort of play by play, but I think we came and we did what we we're going to do. It's a shame about that last one, but there's definitely positives to take away from the weekend. And
have some new people on board this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we can't do this without our sponsors, so a massive thank you to Bob Selby Wood, the guys at Radio Industries, and all our sponsors that come on board. You know, we can't do it without them. So.
Well, let's bring John in from Hi-Tec Steel Framing, give you your award. Good to see a smile still on your face, Jackson.
What else can you do, man? If you don't smile, you cry, so.
We'll see you at Sydney Motorsport Park in a few months.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All right, now let's big a round of congratulations here. He's got the most team members, so we're going to hear a whole heap of noise for Josh Haynes, our round winner here at Morgan Park Raceway. You got a big smile on your face, mate. What's that from?
I'll tell you what, that's better than getting the last Tim Tam in a packet. That was the best race. Had a blinder start. Obviously, it's tricky here around Morgan Park. It's really tight. So I was trying to get Jackson around the outside at turn one, which I did. Really sad to see Jackson, you know, get in an incident. You know, we're close out there, but you never like to see that happen to anyone. So I'm sorry for Jackson. I'd just like to thank my whole team. Rob from Herzog, I know he's watching at home. Beaches Sea-Doo, my major sponsor. All the other sponsors. Happy birthday to Arnie Norma. And yeah, I seriously can't thank my whole team enough, so it's been unreal.
Tell us what it's like battling out there with Jackson those first couple of races. You got him in the top 8 shootout, but he came back at you hard.
Honestly, it's been some of the hardest racing I've ever done all weekend, you know. Like, we are so close that you don't know what you actually have to look for to be there. So we slowly chipped away at it all weekend, and obviously it's great to get a win in the end there. We didn't quite get the battle we wanted, but yeah, super happy and grab some good points for the championship.
What do you think it's going to take when we go to Sydney Motorsport Park next on the 13th and 14th of October? Are you going to be up the front? Who do you think is going to be your biggest challenger?
Same challenges as always. It's Thomas, Rice, us three. Although that's happened, he's still going to be there. So we've got to keep a level head. We've still got 2 more rounds to go. We need to play it safe. And yeah, at the end of the day, keep it on the black stuff and keep getting some points.
Well, I think your granddad's got a bottle to share with you tonight, but we'll bring in Jono here from Hi-Tec Steel Frame and give you your award.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And what a drive there from Mark Crutcher as well to get the Serco Masters Award. Big drive from him this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at your Hi-Tec Oils highlights of the previous 2 races, race 3 and race 4 of the TA2 Muscle Cars Series, framed by Hi-Tec Steel Frames. And boy, it's been busy to say the very least. This is a look at the last 2. A bit of a deja vu feeling about it when you go down into the turn 1. This is the last turn 1 incident that we had in this last race. And this is where it all got UGLY. You ain't got no alibi, ugly. Cheney, he just charged through the lawn clippings. Everybody else took a base. Oh yeah, there's no, I'm sorry. That's the angle.
Not much doubt about it.
But officer, you know what I mean?
I'll leave that to Elliot.
Just hand me your license. And here is where you saw Jackson storming back through the field. And this guy continued to blaze away. He is going to be really fast at Sydney Motorsport Park. I am sure that we'll have a field under lights at Sydney, well over 20 cars. I know that's pretty, you know, crystal ball of me.
Yep.
But I think we're going to be coming out of the woodwork to run with us on that October 13-14 weekend, Rob. There is Paul Hadley. Here's the moment. It looked like he gave him a little touch. Did the car go a little unsettled just then? Like,
it did.
Maybe it's like a Remember Me, the old Rowdy Burns, Cold Trickle.
Knocking on the back door.
Exactly right. Dylan was far. I love this. Just blazing it up. His young son Carter is off to America with Dylan later this year. Very talented young motocross rider. And Carter looking for a big career in motocross. His old man's very good on four wheels, so maybe Carter will be even better on two. That was a look back at our highlights. Sydney Motorsport Park is going to be an absolute monster. October 13 and 14 under lights. Can't wait to get lit with the TA2 Muscle Cars Series. And of course, our great friends at Hi-Tec Oils for the Super Series this year. On behalf of all the team, it's Wade Orn just saying goodbye. See you next time. Leave the speeding to us.
Back in 1966, karting was still in its infancy and was about to expand into multiple territories, and so the FIA Karting paddock journeyed to Copenhagen for the World Championship. It was won by Susanna Ranganelli, who remains the only woman ever to win a four-wheeled international world motorsport title governed by the FIA. Over half a century later, and for the first time in the European Championships, Denmark is back on the calendar with an exciting new venue. The karting club in Rodby is an all-new facility, opened in 2021 and located on the island of Lolland, just over 150 kilometres south of Copenhagen. The new circuit has already gained plenty of compliments from the drivers in OK, Junior and the Academy Trophy, who have arrived to continue their quest for European karting glory, some even calling the circuit here the Zandvoort of karting. Heading into the third weekend of four, it's a critical point in the FIA karting season, as we draw nearer to crowning the European champions for 2023. With the battle only just beginning in the Academy Trophy, and at the halfway stage in the OK classes, anything can still happen. But it's important for drivers to take advantage of every opportunity from here on out. The junior battle between Alexander Bondarev, Tibor Ramakers and Lewis Werrell will be as close as ever, as they are all being challenged by their opposition. And it's a similar story in OK, as Gabriel Gomez, René Lammers and Alex Powell are once again likely to be near the front, but several others have their eyes on the prize. Will we see new competitors on the Academy podium? Will rain intervene? And how will the championship look after the checkered flag flies? We ride on board with Luca Magnussen, younger brother of Formula One star Kevin. Flat down the straight and carrying plenty of speed into the first corner, which flows directly into the second and puts big strain on the body. Then on the brakes, turn in and on the throttle again as the corner opens out, ahead of a tricky left-hander, which begins wide and then tightens acutely at the radius. Ride the curves on the exit and prepare the car to be smooth under brakes for the hairpin, a natural overtaking spot. On the throttle again as the circuit swerves to the right, but even if the back end steps out, you can convert the slide into an overtake into the next hairpin, a left which sorts out the prey from the tentative. Be fearless in the next left, as it is very easy to misjudge. Then hit the brakes for turn 9, the banked right-hander. Carry more speed here than you think, as on the exit and the approach to the next left, you could lose a couple of places. The final turn is wide enough to make an overtake, but also open on the exit to undercut an opponent on the throttle. Overtakes will be high at Rodby, and so defending will probably be ruthless. At the Academy season opener at Fenech, Marius Berg of Norway emerged as the winner after a thrilling battle with Hugo Marti and Max Walton in a rain-challenged final. It's still early days in the title fight, but now we know who to watch for in Denmark. But just like at Fenech, Rodby is a circuit nobody has raced at before at this level, so it looks as though we're in for another sensational final, especially as 6 different drivers have won the 6 qualifying heats ahead of the main event. Vasilios Apostolidis stayed consistent throughout the heats to clinch pole position, but Walton is on the front row to challenge for victory again. Barry Berg is third beside Marcus Schincunias, and Hugo Marti is on the third row. The winner is going to be impossible to predict. Apostolidis and Walton were split by Barry Berg heading into the first corner, with Rocco Coronel snapping at the heels of the top 5. Barry Berg attempted to take the lead into turn 3, but the Greek up front wouldn't surrender the corner. A couple of eager drivers on the first lap triggered a chain reaction, and while some lost positions, others had to take avoiding action. Fortunately, everybody stayed in the race. Barry Berg tried again halfway round the opening lap, and again the Greek defended to protect his lead. But into the penultimate corner, Barry Berg finally made it work. Marty slipped ahead as well, with Apostolidis drifting onto the grass, and now had to recover in third. The men who started on the front row were now dueling for third, as Walton made his bid for the podium. Another defensive move allowed Coronel to sweep into fourth in unison, and a corner later, Schincunias moved up into fifth. Marty seized his chance to grab the lead, and did so, becoming the third leader in 2 laps. 2 corners later, and Coronel overtook Walton to move into third position, as the quartet had now broken away from the pack. Coronel then grabbed second, but Walton couldn't repeat the feat. Coronel wasn't done there though, and incredibly he became the 4th race leader on only lap 3. Sadly, Roland Spruder couldn't restart after an off-track excursion and become the first retirement. The race was only 4 laps old, and the rivalries just kept on coming. Walton and Barry Berg then found the gap to pass Marty, but Walton wanted the lead, and the Australian took it away to become the 5th race leader. Elsewhere, Gritas Jiriupa lost positions after running wide at turn 4. Schincunias sensed he had an opportunity, and having caught the men ahead, he stormed into third past Barry Berg. At the same time, Coronel recaptured the lead of the race with a textbook manoeuvre. But Schincunias was just getting started. On lap 9, he found second position by passing Walton. The Australian then had to go defensive to thwart the onslaught from Barry Berg, but a mistimed undercut from the Norwegian resulted in the slightest of nudges. Walton was off the road, dropping to 8th. Lisa Biard was now back in the fight. The French driver was the next to pass the Australian. But up ahead, halfway round the 10th lap, and we found race leader number 6, the Lithuanian star, Marcus Schincunias. Having spun at the start of the final heat that morning, Santino Panetta was making a miraculous recovery. He was now up to third past Barry Berg. Could the Argentine win? Apostolidis was returning to the fray, and he overtook the Norwegian as well. And only a lap later, the Greek would catch and then pass Panetta as well. On lap 16, Coronel decided to retake the lead from Schincunias. He refused to give space and they banged wheels. Apostolidis slipped by, but Barry Berg became accidentally tangled in his wheels, so they both dropped back and out of race-winning contention. Incredibly, at the end of the same lap, Apostolidis returned to the head of the field, with Biard now chasing Coronel for second. She would be given her chance to split the pair as they duelled on the next lap, and now she was in a brilliant second. Coronel made sure it didn't last long, and the resurgent Walton also found the gap to overtake. Biard tried to retaliate, but it was done. Then Walton returned to second as Biard was squeezed out of fourth and dropped behind Lorenzo Campos, Panetta and Wojciech Woda of Poland. Coronel recovered quickly to grab second place back. That was the moment that Apostolidis was able to disappear. Walton's impatience would cost Coronel dearly, as it was now the Dutchman's turn to drop positions in the closing stages. Campos briefly held third, but Panetta wouldn't hesitate to steal the final place on the podium. Woda was able to sneak ahead for a valiant fourth place. Biard wasn't quite so fortuitous. Woda and Panetta would carry on their epic duel for silverware, with Biard promptly joining them. heading into the final lap, and the French driver wasn't prepared to be shoved around and moved boldly into 4th position herself. The battle intensified, and it would end in disaster for Border and Campos as they tangled, with Barry Bergen British driver Harry Bartle doing the same behind them. So after one of the most exciting finals for recent years, Apostolidis somehow held on for a brilliant coming-of-age victory ahead of Max Walton, who now takes the lead of the standings. It was a race with many leaders and some incredible overtakes, but the smooth and calm driving techniques of Apostolidis rewarded him in spectacular fashion. Panetta joined the winner and the points leader on the rostrum, ahead of Ryotaro Sakai and Sebastian Garzon, who benefited from a series of front-fairing penalties. Carlos Stout was promoted up to 6th, ahead of Marti, Shilcunias and Campos, with the determined Clara Kowalczyk coming home in 10th. It was a fabulous comeback for Santino Panetta, whose day had begun with despair and had ended with triumph. Max Walton heads to Cremona with a 15-point lead in the standings, and the latest winner, Vasilios Apostolidis, as the man who can now soak up the glory as the drivers celebrate on the podium in Rodby. But who will win the crown in Italy? The competitors now have 6 weeks to wait to find out.
In the final, at the start, I lost some positions. I went to P7 back. When I had the speed, I managed to gain up some places and finish in P1. Yeah, I think this track is very tricky. It has a lot of corners. It was a really good experience in this track. Cremona is one of my favorite tracks. And I'm pretty fast there, I think.
I was struggling a little bit at the start of the weekend through practice and qualifying. And in the final, I started P2 out of all that. And at the start, it was good. I got into P1 and then fell back to P2. Then got pushed off the track to P9. Then I had my head down and got through all the pack and tried to catch the leader and just didn't have enough for the finish.
Yeah, the weekend was very good. The final I start P8 and finish P4.
In junior, the battle has been fantastic so far. After Thibaut Ramakas dominated in Valencia, Alexander Bondarev spent a tough race defending from Lewis Werrell to win his first FIA karting final in Greenwich. But the title battle is far from over, and as early as the celebrations begin, so too does the work to learn another new circuit. Here in Denmark, things are even more competitive than ever, with multiple drivers taking heat wins and no one driver being dominant. The quest for victory has been between Kart Republic and Paralymp for most of the weekend, with Jacopo Martinese and Christian Castoya starting from the front row of the grid. The two previous winners of finals, Ramakas and Bondarev, will now go head-to-head on the second row of the grid, with Belgium's Dries van Langendonk and the brilliant Tiziano Monza of Singapore behind them. The top four would remain as they started as the field swept through turn one. But championship contender Lewis Werrell and fellow Brit Noah Wolff were squeezed off the road and plummeted to the back of the queue. Into turn 3, Nicholas Schaufler almost lost the kart, and as he recovered, Oliver Kinmark was left with nowhere to go. He rejoined, but after a promising weekend, all his hard work was now effectively undone. Martinez had a huge advantage up front. Ramakas was struggling, now losing out to Schaufler. But it wasn't long before Bondarev was making his bid for second and passed Castoya's Paralymp, with the Shamrock Europe kart of Tiziano Monza now up to an impressive fourth and hunting them down. It was clear that Schaufler's problems were with the kart and not the driver, and as he dropped down the order, he would eventually coast into the pits to retire. Zach Drummond and Stepan Antonov were now challenging as they made their moves on Monza. But Martinez was proving to be quite a hard man to catch out in the lead. In the midfield, there was a terrific scrap between the Tony karts of Kiro Ditiev and Scott Lindblom and the Paralymps of Vivek Kanthan and Jack Iliff. By the end of lap 7, Bondarev had caught his teammate, and before the Italian even knew what to do next, Bondarev was already taking the lead. With the Ukrainian now up front and his main rivals hitting trouble, it must have looked too good to be true. Sadly, Mies Huben and Alfie Slater's day ended at the final corner, particularly frustrating for Huben, who tried and couldn't quite manage to rejoin. Parolin weren't giving up, as Castoya swept past Martinez for second and Drummond joined him up to third. But instead of working with his teammate to catch the Ukrainian in the lead, he decided to make the move to pass the Spaniard. They banged wheels and lost time, with Antonov through into fourth ahead of Castoya. To make matters worse, Ramicas and Monza were now ready to pounce, having caught them all with vigour. It wasn't long before Martinez retaliated, and Drummond paid the price, dropping all the way down to seventh. But there were more battles to come. Dries van Langendonk and Tane Soleil would soon join the fracas of an 8-kart melee that rumbled on for lap after lap, at the gradual expense of Ramicas, who would have more problems and would eventually fall even further back. There were great conflicts further up the order, as Scott Lindblom went rogue on Tony Kart teammate Kirill Ditiev. But there was more woe on the horizon for Kinmark, who had driven brilliantly for Koski Motorsport. His weekend ended in disappointment at 2/3 distance. Just when Kart Republic were preparing for an easy finish, Antonov decided to make the move for second and passed his Italian stablemate. But after a tough weekend where he had barely won a race all weekend, Alexander Bondarev had saved his best drive for the final, and for the second event in a row, he clinched the victory, this time by a decent margin over his Kart Republic teammates. The Parolins were close behind, but couldn't quite match Dino Chiesi's squad. With Bondarev victorious and his rivals floundering, it might be easier to win the title next month than originally expected. Behind the Kart Republic podium came a trio of Parolins, the patient Castoya, the exceptional Monza, and the valiant Drummond. Van Langendonk claimed 7th ahead of Lindblom, whilst Eilif made a heroic surge to the top 10, as did Andy Consani. Nobody could have predicted the Kart Republic trio clean sweeping the trophies from Denmark. But as Jacopo Martinez and Stepan Antonov enjoyed their first visits to the rostrum this year, Bondarev probably couldn't help but start thinking about the possibility of becoming champion, now 42 points clear at the top of the ranks. But for now, it's time to get busy with a fizzy.
Yeah, the race was quite hard. Starting from the weekend, we managed P2 in qualifying, which was good. And then just moved slowly through the heats and then started P4 in the final. Then on the first laps, I was around P2, P3. Then I managed to get into P2 with a clear gap. Then I managed to catch Jacopo. And then I think behind they started to fight a bit, which made me pull away to a gap which I would just need to control the pace to get the win. For sure in Cremona we'll try to do our best. I don't want to say anything in the championship because you can get 80 points per weekend and have a 42-point advantage, so anything is still possible. But we'll work very hard with the whole team to be as strong as we were the whole season in Cremona.
Yeah, at the start I wasn't thinking that I can come back to the podium, but after first 5 laps I was like, oh, I'm fast, I can go there. After I start catching Martinez, I was right behind him, like I overtake him and go.
Yeah, still happy. Also for the team, we got triple podium, so really good job. The weekend was really hard. We saw already from Friday, from the first heats, we were competitive, we were fast, and we gave our best. Going to the final, starting from pole, I was trying to be as fast as I can. Really hard first laps. Then Alexander overtook me, and also Stefan, and we managed to get P3.
To have 3 drivers on the podium, I don't think any team would sign for that from day one. Honestly, I didn't expect that before the final. We knew it would be strong, but the track layout lays for a lot of overtaking. It's very dusty offline, so the racing becomes very close because it's difficult to get away. We planned a lot to do the setups with the drivers to do getaway at the beginning and also to work together, which they did fantastically, not to fight among themselves, to keep the tyres clean and to pull away, which is what they did. We'll keep working away. We'll go to a very different circuit. We've been to two relatively tight and twisty tracks. Cremona is not much bigger, but it's a lot of grip, very high grip, so it could be a completely different situation. We'll go in there, we'll work hard, and we'll see what we can do.
Despite missing out on a victory in the final in Valencia to Britain's Joe Turney, Brazil's Gabriel Gomes has so far been the king of OK in 2023. His win in French established him as a favourite for the title. But close rival René Lammers has never been that far away. With the racing closer than ever here in Rodby, neither driver has been able to claim the pole position for the longest race of the weekend, demonstrating just how tough it is to remain at the front in a field packed with European and world champions. René Lammers will, however, share the front row with the pole position sitter, Alex Powell. Thomas Stolchemanis shares the second row with reigning European champion Kian Nakamura-Berta, with Gomes on the third row in his CRG. But who will triumph? The Prema twins stormed forward with Powell ahead of Nakamura-Berta, whilst Gomes banged wheels with Joe Turney, who slipped back down the order. That allowed Miguel Costa to move up to a fantastic third ahead of his teammate Lammers. In the hectic nature of the opening lap, Liverway Sam Budler spun around and would retire there and then. A few corners later and there was even more disaster, as Maciej Ladish went from pole position in Friday qualifying to the sidelines, with Thomas Strauben, Xavier Avramides and Martin Molnar. With all 5 drivers out of the race and the track littered with debris, the race was neutralised under yellow flags, which gave Krzysztof Wisniewski the chance to recover back to Parc Fermé. At the restart, Lammers wasted no time at all, passing Nakamura-Berta. The Dutchman was up to second place. Nakamura-Berta was struggling to gain back the momentum, and was now under pressure from Stolchemanis. And it wouldn't be long before the energy course was alongside and then ahead. It was Gabriel Gomes who made the next move and was able to pass the reigning European champion. Then when Nakamura-Berta defended against Costa, the Brazilian took revenge and refused to back down, which forced the Prema driver onto the grass. This allowed the reigning world champion Matheus Morgado to split the pair of them. On lap 8, the Birolab driver elected to show his countrymen how to move ahead. Costa resisted and drifted off the road. Nakamura-Berta passed them both, and Nathan Ty gained ground on the Sodi car. The British driver enjoyed the invitation to challenge the king of 2022. The next left-hand hairpin, he made it look effortless. But you don't just pass the world champion without a fight. Morgado was back in front. The squabble continued, and as Costa challenged Ty, the Brit came off worse. Finn McLaughlin was the man who benefited. Finally on lap 10, Lammers had caught Powell. At the banking, he made the decisive move. The Jamaican tried to challenge him back, but it was already over. Julian Boot lost a side pod in his battle in midfield, and that signalled the end of his Danish adventure. Gomes was in fighting mode, and he also caught Powell and made an audacious dive for second. It worked beautifully. As one European champion in 2022 was struggling, his junior counterpart Anatoly Kavalkin was also out, learning how tough OK Senior is the hard way. Lammers was doing his best to extend his lead, trading lap time after lap time with his main championship rival. Then Nakamura-Berta reminded everyone why he is the European champion, with a stunning overtake on Stolchemanis. There was a little bit more of a push from Gomes in the closing stages, but René Lammers had done enough to manage the gap with some careful tyre management and efficient speed. He utterly deserved his maiden FIA Karting win in only his 3rd season in the paddock and his first in senior. It shows just how much work both Lammers and the Paralympic team have done to reach this critical moment in both their seasons. And now we're set for an epic finale next month in Cremona, where Lammers could become the first Dutchman to win the European crown since Max Verstappen a decade ago. Gomes and Powell joined Lammers on the podium with Nakamura-Berta ahead of Stolchemanis and Morgado. Costa and Turney would roll their sleeves up for strong points finishes, with Nathan Ty and Mark Dubnitsky completing the top 10. Howell added another podium to his tally, which will no doubt fire him up for a shot at the KZ2 European title in Sarno. Gomez would be quietly satisfied with second, knowing that he'd maximised his efforts after a tough result in Friday qualifying. But with a crucial 6-point lead in the title race and his first win in his pocket, René Lammers can enjoy his time in the sunshine.
Yeah, I'm very happy. First of all, I want to thank the whole team of Powerlane, GFR, TM, everybody that surrounded me, my sponsors, everybody that helped me to this victory. And I think it was a very good weekend for us with the championship points. We managed to get the lead in the championship. Yeah, I think it gives us good hope for Cremona.
Yes. Unfortunately, we have the problems in the quali. If it was not the quali, I think we can change a little bit the result. But I'm so happy with all the improvement we do in the week. We recover a lot of positions, and the championship still open. Only 5 points between me and the first one, and I think it will be a really good race. We will try everything to win in our home race.
To be honest, I don't think we could have done a lot of things differently. I was pushing every lap. It was just missing a bit, especially in the first part of the race. We were relatively weak compared to the others. So even though I had a small gap, it dissipated quite quickly. So, I mean, other than that, the weekend went quite well. I think we should be proud of the progress that we made, considering from a not ideal qualifying. On Friday, we came back quite well, so it shows that that we're strong even when we start to struggle and start on the back foot. But I mean, I think we should be proud of the work that we've done this weekend, because I think it's the maximum that we could have taken out of it. We just missing that last little bit that we need to improve on.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for the team in both classes. And in senior, I'm extremely satisfied, especially because a couple of weeks ago and in the test, we were not as brilliant. So in these last days, we really worked hard. We did our part. TM and GFR really put together a great package for us. And René did simply a perfect job this weekend.
A historic win for Greece in the Academy Trophy has put Vasilios Apostolidis into the fight for the title with just 1 weekend to go. But Max Walton leads the standings. In theory, all Alexander Bondarev has to do in Cremona is stay in the top 5. He will become Ukraine's first ever European champion, the ultimate comeback story in the sport's history. But there's a showdown on the rise between René Lammers and Gabriel Gomez for the European title, following the Dutchman's epic performance in Denmark. In 3 weeks' time, the KZ and KZ2 European crowns will climax at the foot of Mount Vesuvius on the brilliant Sarno circuit, whilst the OK contenders will be at Cremona in 6 weeks from now. July is going to be a busy month, with multiple FIA Karting champions to crown.